Hi, I'm Chad with Move Forward Guitar. This lesson is from our series Guitar Chords for Beginners. In a previous lesson, I showed you how to play an open E minor chord. In this lesson, I'm going to show you another version of an open E minor chord. First off, if you'd like to get the diagram for this chord, the chord chart, you can click the link on the screen and it'll take you to an eGuide that you can download for free. And this eGuide includes this chord as well as a whole bunch of other beginner chords that are really useful to learn. It has really common beginner chords as well as less common ones. And not only do I show you how to play the chords, give you diagrams for those, but I show you how to put the chords together into chord progressions. So it includes a whole bunch of chord progressions that I have taken from the chords in the eGuide and put them together in sequences so you can see how they go together in a musical situation, and it'll also give you ideas of how to put these chords together into your own chord progressions. So if you'd like to get that eGuide for free, just click the link on the screen and you can download that. Here's an open E minor chord. And you should already know, if you're taking this lesson, how to play a regular E minor, which is just with two fingers, either your first and second or your second and third. If you don't know how to play that chord, there's a link in the description that will take you to a lesson on how to play that. This is just another way, another version, or what's called a voicing of how to play this chord. And a voicing just means that the chord has all the same notes in it, but they're in a different order. And all this really means for this chord, this voicing, a regular E minor chord, the one that you should already know, is like this. With this chord, with this voicing, you're just gonna add in your fourth finger on the first string, third fret. So you're just adding that high, it's a G note, with your fourth finger, or you could add it with your third, but that's a lot more difficult. So probably with your fourth finger, you're adding in that high G. So you're going from this sound with the other E minor to this sound. So they're both E minor chords, open E minor chords. It's just this one has a different sound because you're adding in that high G. And a lot of beginners don't learn this voicing of the chord, but it's pretty useful if you learn it. There's a lot of situations you can play this voicing over the other one that'll sound better than the other voicing. And it'll just be a preference on what sounds best to you in whatever song you're playing or whatever situation. So the fingering for this chord is your first finger on the fifth string, second fret, your second finger on the fourth string, second fret, and those are the two notes you fret for the other E minor chord. But then, like I said, you're adding in your fourth finger on the first string, third fret. And then all the notes that you're not fretting are open. So the sixth string's open, the third string's open, and the second string's open. So you strum through all the strings with this chord. And with this chord, you're really going to have to be on the tips of your fingers to avoid blocking out any of the open strings. That'll probably be the most difficult thing about learning this chord, and especially with your fourth finger, because it's really easy to touch that second string with your fourth finger, and if it hits your fingernail or anything, it's going to give a bad buzz to it. So you just got to really be on the tips and avoid the open strings with your fingers. So just make sure there's a nice arch here in your joint, not bent back at all, and right on the tips of your fingers. And with this chord, your second and your fourth finger are going to be right up in the fret towards the front fret wire, and your first finger is going to be back because your second finger is in the way. So anything you fret on the guitar, you want to be up as much as possible in the fret towards the front fret wire, because it takes a lot less pressure to get the note to ring out when you're fretting it. But your first finger is blocked by your second finger, so it's going to just be touching your second finger like that, and it'll be back a little bit in the fret because of that. You don't want to stack them on top of each other or anything. But anything you fret on guitar, whenever it's possible, get your fingers up in the fret as much as possible without being on top of the fret wire. So when you think you have the chord fretted properly, strum through all the strings. And if you hear anything like like that. You just got to go through, adjust your fingers over and over until you can get all the notes to ring out clearly. And like I said, if you'd like the chord chart for this, as well as a bunch of other beginner chords and chord progressions, click the link on the screen and it will take you to an e-guide that you can download for free that'll be really useful to you and just really come in handy as you're learning guitar. So click the link on the screen, you can download that for free. So this is an open E minor chord.